All right, hello everybody. I'm Brian Dose. I'm going to call this meeting of Public Safety to order in room 250 at 9 o'clock. So first order of business will be roll call. Joanne?
Aye.
Wally?
Here.
Tom? Ron?
Here.
Ray?
Here.
Craig?
Here.
Oh, I see you on that. You're on WebEx, so give me 1 second. We do have physical roll. Craig, you're working, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. Motion to approve remote attendance for Craig Emmett pursuant to Resolution 2353. Motion by Ray. We have a second by Joanne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? All right. That motion carries. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the prior meeting? Tom made the motion. Ray seconds. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? And that motion carries as well. As far as citizen comment, any citizens wish to appear before the committee? Okay, not at this time, but if you do wish to speak, let me know. All right, next, is there anybody that needs to go first? I know the coroner had sent an email that he wasn't going to be in attendance. Can we go right into animal control? All right, Doc.
All right. So I got three main topics this morning: the IVAR agreement, the feral cat situation, and my position. So first off, we'll go to the IVAR agreement. So this is kind of what we have written down on paper from our discussions with IVAR. That first sheet is kind of an overview of the fee schedule. So cut to the point of it, it would be boarding would be $50 a night for any stray dogs that are picked up on the county's behalf. And we're looking for IVAR to house them. Most of them show up with fleas, so they would like to do a $25 flea treatment once per boarding session. Sometimes we run into situations where we need after-hours help, or like a month or two ago, we had a situation where we had like 20-some dogs in a house, so we just needed help transporting them and getting them to locations. So any after-hours help they do for us, which is really convenient for us. They charge $75 an hour. And then this is kind of where, with Ottawa PD, they needed some assistance to where they could reserve a kennel so they always have a place to go for an animal. And I think that kind of would be a good idea for the county, because sometimes we get into situations where we don't have anywhere to go. Instead, and we kind of went down the road of like renting or leasing a section of their kennels, but we thought just for simplicity's sake of insurance and logistics and employees and everything like that, we would just flat out rent one of their kennels, or reserve one of their kennels, which would be $250 a month, so a total of $3,000 per year. And they said they could do quite a few of those if needed. And then from the Illinois Animal Control Act, everybody's required to rabies vaccinate their pets. So any animal that comes in that's a stray that doesn't have rabies vaccination or proof of rabies vaccinations, we would fine that person $80, and that would kind of help cover the cost of boarding if they're not following those rules. And then we also have an ordinance, an old ordinance for dogs running at large. The first offense is $75. If it's not paid within 7 days, it's $150. So, and at the time of those people picking up their pets, we would provide all those guidelines in a letter to them, so it's their responsibility to get those fees paid. And I know that's not ideal. Collecting the money right then when they pick the dog up would be ideal, but that's going to require a lot of work, because IVAR doesn't necessarily want to have to do that, or if they don't want to pay, house their animals for longer while they're there, and they don't really want to handle LaSalle County money. So ideally, in the future, we can have a situation where they can pay over the phone with a credit card or pay online before they go pick up their dog, as opposed to setting up an office station there with payments and things like that. So, but for now, we will provide the owners a letter stating what they need to pay to LaSalle County, and then it's their responsibility to pay that. And then in the situations where we take a stray dog there and they're either unadoptable or never claimed by the owner, and IVAR chooses not to pursue adoption for those animals, we will pay the vet costs associated with that euthanasia, and then any time that IVAR has to assist the vets with those euthanasias. Sometimes they're kind of mean dogs, so it can take a little bit of time to get their cooperation. So, yeah, those are the main points of it. The written agreements after that. They don't want to do any really vicious dogs or rabies quarantines. Kind of opens up a different aspect on their insurance and liability and things like that, which they didn't want to do. So all of those types of animals will be probably sent to our facility up in Norway. We got any questions on that one? So the second part of that.
We have a question. Ray?
Is all this in your budget to cover all this?
Yeah. Yeah, we have and I increased it last year from the year before, just because we have to do more boarding at facilities rather than the old agreements we used to have. So yeah, it's been increased. I think we have it at like $15,000 for professional services and board and things like that. So, but we also, most of this, if the people pay, will be paid by the owner, right? So LaSalle County doesn't directly, well, I guess we pay the boarding, but the client or the owner of the animal then pays us for the boarding and everything. So as long as we can collect fees, which we usually do, not too much of this comes out of our pocket.
So in the past, when they've got their animal first, then they had to pay, that's been successful?
Yeah, and a lot of times we try to have them call LaSalle County, like when you post their pictures of the dog online, they will call LaSalle County to figure out where their animal is, because sometimes it can be at Norway or sometimes it can be at IVAR.
Okay,
And then at that point, we go over the payment.
all right, thank you.
So, yeah, but yeah, that is something that needs to be optimized.
Joanne?
Well, so looking at this, it'd be $50 a night, plus the 25 feet control, that's gonna be the minimum. Then it could be another $75 if it's after hours, right?
Correct.
And we're paying that, so it could be, we could have to pay that $75 out of the county's money instead
Yep.
of the,
Yeah.
we can't change that to make the person liable that has the dog running at large?
Yeah, we could. Yep.
I mean, I don't think that we should pay, we as taxpayers should pay
Yeah.
for somebody else's screw-up.
Yep. Yeah.
So are you looking at like the total fee? They would just pay the total amount?
I mean, I would think that would at least be fair. We're
Okay.
not in it to make money, but at least come out.
Right.
even.
Yeah, so, yeah, I agree with that. So in theory, so say we get a dog, it's $50 for boarding, plus 25 for their food care, so that's 75. Say it was picked up after hours, you're $150. A lot of people that dogs go stray aren't rabies vaccinating. So then you got another 80 on that, so 230 plus an offense. So you're looking at like $300 to get your dog back, right? So a lot of the people don't pay it and say, I don't want the dog back for that much money, and then we end up euthanizing it. So then we pay that $200-some plus the euthanasia costs. So that's my only hesitation with that. In theory, I think it's great. Yeah, they should pay it all and do all that. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people that have just relinquished their dogs, and then we're stuck with them for that. So.
And
And I
this
got
this is the contract itself. That's different, right? You're talking about what we do for the fees that's on our end. This is the contract
Yeah, I guess
between,
that's true, right? Yeah.
yeah. between Ivar and us. So they're not, that wouldn't be any change in this contract.
Yeah, so that's the only tricky part there, is that happens more often than you would think.
All right, want to go ahead with a motion?
And sorry,
Approve
the
this?
other.
Do you want to do?
The other aspect of that is if we do know, so if the owner comes forward, say the owner comes forward after day one and says, I'm not gonna pay that, but I want my dog back. So we can't do anything with that dog because we know the owner now for a week. So in order, if they say, I'm not gonna pay that, but I want my dog back, they can't have their dog back till they pay, then which sits for 7 days, and after 7 days, if the owner hasn't come and gotten it, then we can either adopt the animal out or euthanize it if it's not adoptable. So it puts us in a sticky situation if we charge a lot of money for that. They don't want to pay it, but they say they want their dog back. Because then at the end of those 7 days, now the county is stuck for a week of board versus 2 to 3 days of board. So all devil's in the details, right? So that the second aspect of that, I was brought to my attention later this week that the county has a fee schedule that they set up in 2021, which in order to apply this agreement where we would pay Ivar $50 a night for board, we would have to increase our fee schedule because, and I assume, I wasn't 100% sure, it said 3 working days for board for dogs, which the 3 working days comes from our holding period if the owner's unknown. Currently it's at $68, so I assume that's for all 3 days, which we can't get a facility to house of dogs for that much anyways. So we're gonna have to, in order to do that agreement, we have to update that ordinance or fee schedule. So I guess that will have to happen at next meeting. I wasn't aware of that before we got onto the schedule, so. Yeah, right.
We're getting there. We're
Yeah.
almost there.
Yep. And these are, I mean, I guess they all need to be updated anyways, because they're outdated, and we have not been honoring, I guess, we have been paying people more than this fee schedule as it goes anyways, because it's hard for us to say, hey, will you help us import this dog here, but we're only gonna pay you this much money. So that just doesn't work in real life. So we have to update those to something that's, people will actually help us out with, so.
Okay. Yeah,
Do
Joanne?
you have an idea of what you want to change these to?
I mean, the big ones are board, which I think $50 a night, that's what Norway Kennels charges us. That's what our facility charges the county, and that's what we propose to Ivar to charge the county, so that will probably be 50. So that 3 working days will be from 68 to 150. Euthanasia and disposal, that's probably not too bad. That's probably pretty close. I think we charge less than that actually. Or Stillgrass Vets charges the county less than that. Rabies observation will have to go up quite a bit as well. That's probably closer to 500 or 600. Most of the other ones are pretty on par. Yeah, most of the other ones are pretty accurate. So mainly board and rabies observation, which is kind of board in itself. So. All right, so hopefully we can get those changed and proposed for next meeting to get those amended. And cats?
Let's go.
All right. So our deputies do training with the state, training of animal control and the Illinois Animal Control Act. So we reached out to the people who do those training and kind of consulted with them on how the Illinois Animal Control Act is written. So they felt, and we felt after reading the Illinois Animal Control Act, that we had the jurisdiction, I guess, ability to trap cats if the owners say that that's okay. And so as a feral cat, if you feed feral cats, you are now a a guardian of a feral cat population. So, with their permission, you're able to trap those. So we went to the people who were feeding the cats. We asked them, A, to stop feeding them, which they have, and B, if they would help us trap the cats. So Doug, our deputy, is able to set traps out there where they have been feeding them, and we've been trapping those cats. So, and then once we have the cats trapped, then it's handled like any other animal that comes into our possession. We make sure they don't need vet care, and then we try to adopt them out. And if they're not adopted out after a certain amount of time, or they're unadoptable if they're too wild, they can either be relet into the wild elsewhere where a feral cat population is that doesn't disturb people on a farm or something like that, or they can be euthanized. So that's what we have been doing now. So I think it's helping out this situation already. Doug just called me and they got another one this morning. So it seems like as long as there's food in the trap, they're going to catch cat. So I think there's quite a few out there. And then Brian also proposed this resolution. So I think you guys have copies of that, which pretty much forbids the feeding of feral cats. I guess there is language in there. That the county is mindful of the benefit of cats on LaSalle County farms and does not wish to interfere with cats on farms. Yeah, my only hesitation with that would be the designation of a farm. But I guess the point, I guess this is from your idea, so you kind of go, your reasoning behind it, so.
Sure. Yeah, I asked state's attorneys to write up a resolution and specifically make sure that we're not going after cats on farms, okay? So that there's actually some teeth in this in the event that this continues to happen. They have the ability to fine. So someone that is feeding feral cats, someone who is not agreeable, okay, as a guardian and says, I'm going to continue to do what I want and I'm going to ruin the neighborhood. And they're continue to do, you can't stop me. So in that regard, it really spells out the purpose that a feral cat for purposes resolution does not include a cat that lives on a farm. And the great thing about our justice system is there's multiple levels, right? So if a deputy gets there and decides this is a domestic, this isn't a animal problem, all right, then that situation's handled differently. If it's an animal problem that can be resolved without filing something, I'm sure the deputy uses discretion to do so. If the point arises that the deputy feels that this is in the best interest to go ahead and fine these people or cite them, then it goes to the state's attorney's office, which then makes the decision whether they're actually going to go ahead do a resolution and pursue it further. So the only thing I thought for Section 4 that the fine would be $75, and the fines should be placed in the Fund 55, which is animal control. So that way that money goes strictly back into animal control fund to purchase, to pay for things and cover like I think the truck comes out of that, right? As well as salaries.
Yeah.
So that helps fund the salaries. So, and I don't know if that will be used all that often, but in case that this situation does arise and someone is disagreeable, this is the teeth for that. So that's all. Chairman Jensen.
Do any of the municipalities have a similar resolution in this regard, feral cats?
We do not.
Well, if not, then basically the county is going into the municipalities and enforcing this.
No.
So that maybe part of the resolution should be in the outlying unincorporated, thank you, unincorporated areas.
So it says at the beginning, whereas, ILCS gives the municipalities and political subdivision of the state of Illinois, which include counties, the authority to regulate. So just want to spell this out even further, that this only includes LaSalle County. So only includes
Yeah,
areas
I know we're a
outside
political
of,
subdivision, but
yeah, areas outside of municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can do that. LaSalle County wishes to control the feral cat population within LaSalle County, somebody,
unincorporated areas.
within unincorporated, yeah, unincorporated. Within LaSalle County. Okay, so, just to clarify, on that second whereas LaSalle County wishes to control the feral cat population within, and then the three words, unincorporated areas within LaSalle County. That seemed like that catches everything? That doesn't apply to townships, right? Alright. Well, it does, but there's nobody that's gonna say, well, my township has its own resolution or something like that.
They would not have an enforcement agency.
Okay. So make sure, that's, townships can't, they can't do that, they can't. I know, that's, I'm like, it's the state's
Mr. Adams?
attorney's question. I just wanna make sure that we're not,
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have access to the sheriff's office to enforce it, but they still could sue under an ordinance violation if they had an ordinance of their own, but that's the different levels of government, so they can act independently. I don't anticipate that there would be a lot of conflict between us and the townships over this. They'd probably let the sheriff's office or the animal control come and deal with it.
okay. Just wanna clarify. Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, my only thought is that the Illinois Animal Control Act has quite a bit of language specifically for feral cat colonies. So I don't know if we have the legal ability to say that people cannot have a feral cat colony.
I have-
On top of the Illinois Animal Control Act.
I had Pat write it up, so
Yeah.
he said he had researched the,
Okay.
that ordinance. So he's trying to lightly bridge the gap.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, have a motion? Motion by Joanne, seconded by Ray. So as far as discussion too, it's $75. I thought we just 75, right? I don't think this is going to be something that would be hopefully not reoccurring. And everybody's okay with the fines being placed in Fund 55 Animal Control? Okay. Okay, so we have a motion, and a second. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? All right. That motion carries. It'll go to the, I think it should go to Leg and Rules, right? No? Something always goes to another committee here. So is it fines and fees? Does that go to finance then? Because because we're adding a fee? No? Going straight to the full board? Just want to clarify this pathway here.
Don't look at me.
That would be my take. It's not a contract that would require finance to review, so I think you can just send it to the board for approval.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. All right, thanks.
All right, the last thing I want to talk about was my position. So I do not have the time to continue with the administrative aspect of this job. There's a lot of stuff like this that needs to get taken care of in a timely manner, and it's just too much for me to do right now. Our business is growing, got young kids. So I talked to Adam a little bit about it, and we kind of have two options moving forward. I could completely step down as the administrator. You guys could find another veterinarian to come into the administrator role, which I think is going to be rather difficult. And the second option would be me to step back from all the administrative side of it. So like getting these agreements written up, ordinances and resolutions and the budget and coming to these meetings. And then I can still stay on as a veterinarian to consult on the medical sides of it, rabies testing, all of that kind of stuff, humane animal investigations and things like that. In the Illinois Animal Control Act, says you can have an administrator, which is what I am currently, but that administrator doesn't have to be a veterinarian. Then I could become a deputy administrator, and then an administrator can be, obviously anyone to fill that position. So yeah, I think option 2 of me stepping back and just doing medical consulting, and then having someone else fill the administrative responsibilities would probably be the smoothest transition and the most realistic transition. So that's what I like to propose. Adam, do you have any more to say about that? Be able to.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it the other day too. And, while it's not ideal, of course, we're kind of back up a lieutenant now that we've been missing for a long time that can help out with some of the admin stuff of this. And we can see how it goes for a while here, see how we do. So we've got a little more administration staff than we've had for the last few months finally. So, but I was going to chime in too, and you probably could speak to it more than I can. It seems like people are being a lot more compliant with the tags and registration and stuff now too. Just in the last month, and they're still counting, just in the last month, they've taken in like $25,000 just in registration tags. So at times, we've got up to 3 people processing tags and letters and credit card fees and stuff. They seem to be flying through the office there, and that seems to be pretty regular now, so.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they put in a lot bigger effort to collect fees and organize all of that than they have in the past, so I think.
yeah,
that
and you
effort's
think
showing through.
25,000, that's not a lot to the county, but that's coming in, at like $16 at a time, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of tax.
Yeah.
I mean, they're processing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a month, so if not thousands, so.
Yeah. So does any comments on that?
I just want to say thanks for all you've done. I'm sure it's been a wild journey for you, but
Yeah, absolutely.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of improvement that needs to get done within animal control, you guys know. So I think if we can bring in help that can dedicate more time to that, I think it'd benefit everybody. So
We don't have to agree to it, right?
not necessarily. Yeah.
Could we pass? Could we pass a resolution to block him from leaving? Right? I mean,
But yeah, I think in the future, it's going to have to be a different system anyways. I think you're going to be hard pressed to find veterinarians that will be willing to step into that administrative role and the medical role of it. Unless they're retired, or you get a situation like that, it's just going to be difficult to find the time to devote to it because it's just getting more and more time consuming as more things come up and need to be clarified and changed. So yeah, I think in the future, instead of having the administrator of that, I think you're probably better off having the administrator and then having that as a deputy administrator with less administrative roles.
let's talk money. So how does that work? You were getting paid, was it 22,000? Am I right?
25, I think, yeah, for 22.
Okay, something like that.
In there,
Okay. Are you taking less? Are you?
Yeah, I'm willing to do whatever. And I didn't know how that worked with Adam, if we could, cut mine down and then offer that money for someone else who wants to take on more responsibilities in the sheriff's department or things like that. I'm open to anything.
Willing to take a pay cut to leave us. How would that work, Sheriff, on your end?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm willing to offer up my staff to help a little bit. Like I said, we've got a little more admin people now that we've been lacking and kind of scrambling without. So, we're willing to help out and pitch in and see how it goes. And I know Doc's business is growing. You know what I mean? This has got to be tough for him to do. It's up to you all. I don't have any say in the finance side of it, but you're paying a degreed veterinarian $20,000 a year. That's just the medical consultant side of it has got to be worth that. You know what I mean? He's probably way underpaid as the animal control administrator as it was, and expecting him to try to negotiate contracts and oversee budgets and everything like that for 20 grand. I mean, you're gonna pay him for his medical knowledge here to administrate the medical side of the program, but that's up to you folks. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't do this because of the money. So whatever you guys feel comfortable doing, that's fine with me. So.
Okay. Maybe we put on the agenda for December and have some ideas and come forth with that. But you're like, if it's going to become a deputy, like this, if we went ahead with this proposal, this is happening like what, December?
I
Or
guess
now?
it depends on how
I mean,
quick he's
what do
running.
Yeah, the sooner the better for me, but I understand how everything works here, so.
Right. Oh, I didn't know, like, if, because like, your appointment comes through the full board, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you would have to, Chairman, there would have to be some sort of change there?
I think so. We'd have to have discussion on it and figure it out how we're going to move forward.
Okay.
And I think Doc would still be taking on the bulk. I mean, he's going to take on all the medical stuff. He's just kind of asking that maybe we pick up the paperwork a little bit more as far as,
Yeah.
and we already do a lot of that. We have, you know, our staff handles all the paperwork today. I think she kind of puts together a lot of your budget for you and stuff anyways already.
Yeah, and the budget's pretty straightforward. It doesn't change very much, you know, so.
Yeah, so.
I think what he was saying is he wants to take less money, not to face us every month.
No, it's the special projects like this, and like we still have a lot to do with how we process rabies tags. We got to make that a lot more efficient, you know. And it's like, if that's looked at as my responsibility, I'm just not giving it the time it needs to. You know? So there's a lot of things that need to be done that if someone else can put a set of eyes on it and kind of make that their role, I think it's better for everybody. So.
Chairman Jensen?
I'd like to make the suggestion we have a meeting and discuss what those roles would be as administrator and figure out how we're going to separate that off and then get a job description for it.
Yeah.
If we're going to be either as somebody new hire or job description for a possible stipend or something of that nature.
Yeah, there's a lot of clarity and everything that needs to be drawn on this. I was kind of took it over with someone who had done it for 50 years, so he knew what he did every day, you know, so there wasn't anything written down or anything like that. So yeah, all of that stuff needs to happen as well.
All right, any other bombshells? No?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got for you today, guys.
All right, give a motion to accept the report as presented. By Ray, can I have a second? By Wally. A discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And then bills. So a motion to pay bills by Tom, second by Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? That motion carries as well. All right, thank you, Doc.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Sheriff?
We don't have too terrible much for you today. We've got one in the academy that should be graduating soon. I think we're pretty square on squad cars and equipment and everything right now, so kind of a light month for us here today. I know Jason's got some stuff for you, but that's about it.
Jason?
Good morning. I just wanted two things. First of all, because I know some people ask all the time, we have our audit next month for the ACA. We're doing our last minute prep for all that, making sure everything is ready and available. It's the 4th and the 5th, or 3rd, 4th? 3rd and 4th, so I didn't look at a calendar, but I think that one of those days will be the day of a committee meeting, so we won't necessarily know anything for that committee meeting, but I will obviously let everybody know how it goes. Second thing was, I didn't get this on the agenda. I had every intention to, but I just got busy and forgot to let Amanda know. So I just wanted to discuss it with you guys today. If you remember back in June, we brought a proposal up to have cabinets and countertops that are 24 years old replaced and or fixed back in the jail. Bob had taken that on. Bob brought us a proposal from Liebhart for $30,900. He apparently didn't look at it ahead of time. I did speak with Mr. Adams about it. Our goal was to talk to Liebhardt and say, what can we take out of this so that we could, because it's not really something that's an easy bid type thing. Mr. Adams did advise us that if we physically remove, if we don't go to Liebhardt and say, listen, can you just knock this down to 30,000? He did not believe that we would be violating any of the rules if we were having work that was not being completed to get it under that 30,000. We did speak with Liebhardt. Surprisingly, he came in and he brought us the original proposals, which we never saw. And there were 3 levels, 3 choices for the types of countertops. Apparently Bob picked the middle choice without ever asking. I guess he just kind of went the avenue of saying, well, instead of going the lowest, instead of going the highest, let's go in the middle. Had he picked the lowest one, it would have come in under $30,000. So my question today is, can I have that on the agenda for next month? We had never seen that option. There is nothing wrong with the first option of countertops. It's still a hard surface countertop. It's not a Formica countertop. It just all has to do with the color schemes that are in them. The ones that he chose were a more expensive design for that. So knowing that a bid came in that could be under $30,000, the first question is to make sure it's still okay to go with that. Second one, is it okay to put that on the agenda for next month to try to get that approved?
Joanne?
Do you have the money in your budget?
This was back in June when this first came up. It was decided it was going to be paid for out of the public safety, because it is for the jail, which is what the public safety funds were originally designed for.
Joanne?
Go ahead.
Can you by chance, when you come to the meeting next month and bring pictures of what is there now?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're gonna add them to the budget for next year then?
Yes,
assuming-
we absolutely can, yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be done after the 1st of December.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's in pretty bad shape. What's there now?
Yeah, so it's all you've got pieces of, anybody who's familiar with Formica, the pieces will chip away, and you've got pieces that stick up, people have been cut on them. So then we have to cut off another piece of it. So you've got exposed like the underboard, then a piece there, we tape it, it just doesn't look good. I mean, 24 years for some of that stuff that's used 24 hours a day, is actually a pretty good run.
I'm good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I guess I'm just confused. Why do we need to bring it up again next month? Why can't we just make a decision now?
Well,
It clearly needs to be done. It's not something that we should let continue to go on until something bad happens. So what is it, Jason? Why do you want to bring it up next month? Why can't we just do it here?
well, the original bid that came before the committee for approval was over $30,000. I thought that we brought it up here. Well, and then the second. Okay. And then the second part of that is I don't have it on the agenda to bring to you guys to review for approval, and I think I
But
have
since it's under
to.
$30,000, they don't have to do anything. You could just sign the contract and go for it.
Then that would be fine with me if you guys wanted to make a decision on that today. I just thought that I had to bring it up to you guys for approval, and have it on the agenda.
Maybe the only reason I'm thinking of it is because it's not in the budget, because it's coming out of public safety money. Would that be just a reason to bring it up to everybody or not?
Is it is it coming out of public safety monies?
That was what was decided back in June when the reason there's a lapse in it is because after we talked about it in committee, we went back to Bob, advised him it was over that, and if it's gonna go that way, then we need to, he has to have it go out for bid. Unbeknownst to us, he never did another thing with it until we asked about it again a month ago, and he's like, I don't know, that's your guys' situation. So, I called Leaphart myself, talked to Mr. Adams to try to get some resolution to this, and that's when I got the information that I got. Otherwise, this would have been done already, from our previous conversations.
Doug?
If it hasn't been budgeted and you haven't talked about it, it should certainly go to finance, I would think.
Yeah. We can't really vote on anything. It's not on the agenda.
No.
So. Tom?
Well, that's kind of my thought. Can we just move it along? Instead of waiting to come to this committee again next month, then go to finance the month after that, can we just move it along now to I'm fine with, with following the process, but let's just move the process. Let's not go from month to month to month, and in 6 months, we still won't have it done.
Well-
Let's move it to finance, and let's let finance decide where we need it to go. Is it coming out of public safety? Is it gonna come out of here or there? Whatever, I'm all for that. Let's just move it.
Your mic's not on.
I'm sorry. You can't make a motion, but you can make a recommendation that it go there, right? And then is there any objections? Okay. Ray?
Since it is so late in the year and he talked about possibly putting it in the budget, I guess we can move it along. It's really not going to be public safety money then, right? You're putting in the budget for next year, right?
Well, excuse me, I'm still going to advise them that it was talked about coming out of public safety because, again, that's what those funds were originally, when the sheriff had spoke originally and proposed that, he said that's what that money was originally for. It was for the jail, and this is something inside the jail that needs to be updated. Also, just on the aspect of going to finance, I just don't want to, I guess the reason bringing it up today is I'm going to get asked in finance, does your committee know about this? So I want to be able to say, yes, we discussed it at committee level and they gave me the okay to bring it to finance.
So is that what we're looking for a motion for then, just to bring it to finance?
No, Tom has a recommendation to send it to finance, as we discussed, and does anyone object to it? It's not an official vote. If there's no objections, you'll just say we had discussed and there was no objections to the discussion, or to the recommendation.
Perfect.
All right, anything else? And then next month, we'll come back and say you never went through us. So.
I got Amanda as my witness.
Have to take down the YouTube on that one. All right, what else? You pass windshield tags?
That's me again. I already talked to finance because finance is before public safety, sorry. But the tags that they have to put in the vehicles to go through the fence gates, they're like, for 25 of them, it's like $230. So we asked for permission to take that money out of public safety to pay for the new tags. So I kind of, I'm sorry, I went to.
Okay, I guess this is just a discussion point then? It's already been done? So,
You passed law?
In the fence?
Public, the fence that was put back there, the
Yeah.
gate, they have to get through the gate, they need that little tag in their window.
Yeah, we had a bulk. No, that's okay. We had a bulk of them when we built it, but we just needed a few more. Yeah, for the cars.
is it for other agencies too?
No, no,
okay.
they still hit the kiosks and beeping and stuff. This is just for county vehicles, so,
Okay.
yep.
All right, camera grant?
So there's a camera grant available that's due December 31st that we could get fully reimbursed for the cameras that we just purchased. And so, in addition to that, you can get reimbursements for data storage and related licensing costs, and then money back for training for law enforcement and the operation of the cameras. So I was wondering if we wanted to go ahead and apply for that. I don't know the availability of your staff to do grants, but if you don't have availability to do that, then NCICG could write it for $1,000, and then depending on if you want to do the admin, if it's awarded, then that would be $500 for them to do.
Yeah, we already had our chief deputy in the auditor's office. We're already working on it, so.
Okay, so you're gonna have it applied for the December 31st?
Yeah, they were, as of yesterday, they were in progress.
Okay,
They were
cool.
working on it, so, yep.
Okay, so that's being handled in-house. Okay. Anything else? Okay, motion to pay bills by Wally, second by Ron. Any discussion? Hear none, all in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Okay, the coroner presented a report. A motion to approve the report. Ron again. Second by Joanne. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Also, motion to pay bills. Ron again. All right. Second by Tom. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? That passes. And finally, I think it's EMA.
Excuse me for a second.
Oh,
if I
nope.
may. Regarding the fee schedule and contract with Ivar, I was going to ask Mr. Adams if we need to have because the signatory on the contract is Animal Control and Ivar, and I was wondering if we need to do that in regards to signing off as the county, being the county is going to be paying some of those bills through Animal Control.
It would have to go, it's a contract with money.
Well, the contract with Ivar, the signatories are Animal Control and Animal Rescue. Do we need to do it as the board, being the county will be responsible for some of those bills?
Yeah, so that, when I was just given this question yesterday, so it looks, what happened is that the cost of, the county became limited in the resources they could use to board these animals, right? So the places that were sending them out are charging fees in excess of the ordinance that was passed 4 years ago. So the problem is that it was not raised soon enough to put it on the agenda
Okay.
to amend the ordinance to keep up with the rates that are being charged. So you have a disparity in that the county's approved expenditures for a specific amount, but they're being billed in excess of that amount. And so we have to square away how we deal with the outstanding balance and update the fee schedule to adapt to real time. So I think part of what he was trying to get at is there has to be an amendment to the ordinance for the fee schedule, but we'll also, like, now we have a bill that we have to figure out how to pay from his funds, that we're just getting charged in excess of what the board had approved at prior dates. So I don't know how to square that yet, but, or how you want to work it through, but definitely there's a bill now that would have to be approved by finance, I assume.
Okay, EMA?
Okay, I'll get mine relatively quickly here. Just a few highlights I want to point out. We had one field service unit call out by the sheriff's office for a traffic accident, and we had one ground search call out for a missing person that does not show up on there because it happened just 2 nights ago. We also did a functional exercise with our ground search team. It was like an 8-hour exercise where we set some evidence items and some missing people up in Spring Lake Park and Streeter. And the team had never been out there, so it was totally blind to them. They had no clue. Most of them had no clue that park even existed, let alone that it was how it was laid out, the paths and things like that. So of all the items that we put out there to be found, they were able to find everything. So I was quite pleased with the fact that we've got a team that's well-trained and able to find some of the things that we put out there, or most of the things all of the things that we put out there. The other update that I want to give you guys is that Kyle has hit his training hard. He's been to 2 classes. Well, he's been to more than 2 classes, but he's been to 2 basic academy classes. I think he's got 2 more basic academy classes scheduled for the month of November and December. So he is moving along with this training really well. Yeah, I think that's about it. Now, Kyle will be presenting at the committee meeting next month. I will be off for another round of surgery. So he will be here for me in my place. So be gentle with him next month. Yeah. Just don't admit nothing. Just keep the mouth closed. That's all I have. I really don't have a lot this month.
Okay. Motion to accept report by Tom, second by Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, that motion carries. And a motion to pay bills. Ron, second by Wally. Any discussion?
I do have discussion on bills. Comparing, this is going to bring back some PTSD moments for Amanda. But comparing my record of bills to what the auditor's office actually paid, it looks as though they underpaid my bills by $18, and I'm going to go downstairs and get that ironed out after this meeting.
So what we signed and approved, though, is going to be what the auditor has already went through. So that extra $18 is going to have to be
Next month?
next month.
Okay.
Unless it's do you know exactly what that $18 was from?
Yeah, it's $18.04. It was an Amazon invoice to purchase some sheltering supplies.
Does anybody want to? You're making a motion to amend it, the bills for additional $18 for, all right? And we have a second by Ray. Okay, so we'll vote on the amended total. So any discussion on that? $18.04. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay. So now we'll vote on the motion that has been amended. We had a motion and a second. Do I have to pull that? I don't have to pull that off. We're just going to vote again on that original go back to that motion as amended. So any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay. That motion carries too. So motion to adjourn. Ray, second by Joanne. No discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries.